Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IAS. So as part of our daily series, today also we will look into few of the current affairs which have been sourced from Hindu as well as few from PIB. Okay, so let's get started. So the first one is with respect to something called Cattle Island. So Odisha is planning Odyssey to Wild Cattle Island. So meaning of Odyssey is particularly journey or travel. So it wants to make people travel to a cattle island. So what is this cattle island and all that we will be seeing. See, basically, if you see that there is a Hirakud reservoir, you might have heard about Hirakud Dam, right? So Hirakud Dam is constructed on the Mahanadi River. Okay, so Mahanadi River is there. We have constructed a dam across it. So we have a reservoir over here. So in this reservoir, there are three islands. Okay, so these islands, they have been referred with different names by Odisha Forest and Environment Department. Now the plan is they want to promote tourism here, ecotourism. So these islands, they want to people to go there and get revenue and all this stuff, ecotourism. Okay, environment conservation, and at the same time you want to enhance the revenues also. So Odisha Forest Department plans to promote ecotourism in these three islands, and these three islands have been named such as Island Odyssey, Hirakud Cruise, and Cattle Island. Okay, so out of three, Cattle Island seems something unusual name, right? So why this Cattle Island and what is exactly Cattle Island? See, basically what happened was, when Hirakud Dam was constructed across Mahanadi River, see, a large number of people were displaced from their villages. Why? Because water, moment you are constructing a dam, water accumulates, so it inundates the surrounding areas, gets flooded, right? They get so because of that, water started increasing in the surrounding areas. So people left there, but while going, they were unable to take cattle, so they left behind the cattle there itself. Okay, so what happened is, as area started to submerge following the dam's construction, cattle moved up. So obviously, because water is getting, area is getting submerged, cattle will be moving towards higher elevated places. So cattle started to move in a higher elevated places, and subsequently an island was formed. So subsequently, a named Cattle Island, that is piece of land is surrounded by vast sheet of water. So it is an elevated place. So it is completely surrounded by water. So in this island, what you have is cattles, and over a period of time, these cattles have been growing. So there is, as of now, there is a massive herd of cattle in this area, which is free from human interference. Okay, so they are referred as wild cattle. They have been said that they are shying away. They shy away from human interference and all those stuff. So now there is a plan to promote ecotourism in these areas. So remember ecotourism, and remember Cattle Island, Hirakud Dam across Mahanadi River in Odisha, and all these tips geographically from prelims, somewhere it will be useful. So you can look at here, white cattles. Then next one is with respect to what is happening in Afghanistan. You already know that Taliban have almost gained control over Afghanistan. So what is the other issue now is that you see there is fighters, terrorists belonging to Islamic State, Jaish-e Mohammed, and Lashkar-e-Taiba. So different terror organizations. So fighters belonging to these terror groups also have entered Kabul now. So what happens now is, see, there is Taliban and there are other fighter groups also. But you see that there was a before US withdrawal, there was a agreement between US and Taliban that Taliban are committed to preventing terrorist groups from operating in Afghanistan. So according to the treaty, they should prohibit other, means they should see that other terror organizations are not using Afghanistan as a land. Okay, so now these Taliban will have to commit to their adhere to their commitments, right? So what is said that in future coming days, there might be a possible clash between these terror groups, Taliban, and you have IS, Islamic State, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and LET, Lashkar-e-Taiba. The next one is with respect to financial inclusion index. See, financial inclusion index has been brought out by RBI. before you should know what is financial inclusion. See, financial inclusion is nothing but how accessible, affordable are the financial services to the people. Meaning you have different kind of financial services, see, banking transactions, loan, equity, and all this stuff. So how well they are affordable and accessible to people, so that is the meaning of financial inclusion. See, not everybody is having a bank account, right? Not everybody is able to get, even if they have the bank account, they are not able to get the loans. So these all steps will be coming here. So Reserve Bank of India has announced the formation of a composite financial inclusion index, okay, to capture the extent of financial inclusion across the country. So they have introduced it, and according to this index, for the period ended March 2021, the number was 53.9 compared to 43.4 for the period of March 2017. So meaning there is a greater financial inclusion. So people are able to get more financial services compared to 2017. Okay. So this is the annual index. So annual FI index will be published in July every year. RBI said this, and the index incorporates details of banking, investment, insurance, postal. So these are all financial services related aspects. So remember, for exams point of view, a composite financial inclusion index has been brought out by RBI, which will be published every July. So remember, it will be capturing the extent of financial inclusion across the country. And next one is with respect to scheme remission of duties and taxes on exported products. See, remission means basically a pardoning of living, weighing of the or weighing or cancellation of duty with respect to here. Okay, so you are cancelling or weighing of the duties and taxes on what? On exported products. See, basically on the by the name itself we can understand. So exports, goods are exported from India. See, exported goods have to be competitive. They have to compete with other goods from other countries, right? One way of being competitive is if they are cheaper, the value of these exports, if they are lesser than goods from other countries, they will become competitive, right? There will be greater demand. So one way of making Indian exports competitive is reducing the tax burden on these products, right? Moment you weigh off the duties and taxes on exported products, that makes them the price of these exported products lower, so that makes them competitive, right? So that is why Government of India has notified remission of duties and taxes on exported product scheme. Okay. Actually, basically this scheme is replacing earlier two schemes: merchandise exports incentive schemes and service export incentive scheme. And as part of this, almost there is allocation of 12,454 crore has been done, which covers around 75% of traded items and 65% of India's exports. So remember that. So as I said, all the different taxes, including those levied by the states and gram panchayats, will be refunded under the scheme. Okay. So related to this, you should remember there was a happening that this basic thing is, I told you already, this is replacing merchandise exports incentive scheme and service export incentive scheme. So question comes, why this scheme has replaced earlier schemes? See, actually there was a issue that US has had taken India to WTO dispute settlement body, where it said that the export subsidies that India provides, like various schemes like like merchandise exports and service exports incentive schemes, these are violative of WTO rules. So what the WTO said in that ruling is that India's export subsidy scheme like MEIS, SEIS, and others like special economic zones are violative of core provisions of global trade norms. So what exactly is a violation? See, actually there is something called subsidies and countervailing measures agreement within WTO, and what it says that all those developing countries with gross per capita of $1,000 per annum for 3 consecutive years, these are required to stop export incentives. So as of now, India's gross per capita is more than $2,000. Okay, so meaning that makes it ineligible to provide export incentives. So that is why US complained in the WTO, and WTO said that India cannot offer export incentives. So that is why, to make it compliant with the WTO rules, Government of India has come out with remission of duties and taxes on exported products. Remember this. So again you are promoting, again giving them, waiving the taxes and all. See, there is a percentage range, so within that range only we are weighing of the taxes. Remember that. And coming to WTO, see, global trade, this is a global word, and entire world is a market. So if you want, the everybody wants to compete. So in order to compete, the rules have to be fair, right? So to ensure that the international trading rules are fair, WTO was formed. Basically, it came to existence in 1995 through a Marrakesh agreement, which it basically replaced General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So before WTO, there was something called GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, which was established in 1948. WTO replaced this body. So what it basically tries to do is, it facilitates trade in goods, services, and intellectual property among its member nations. How it facilitates trade? By aiming to reduce or eliminate tariffs, quotas, or other restrictions. So free and fair trade should be there. Free and fair trade should be there. To do that, tariffs, quotas, and other restrictions have to be done away. And member countries use WTO as a forum to regulate, revise, enforce all the rules related to international trade. So that's it for today. You can also download the PDF of this document in the link that is shared below, and do download Operize Institute app, so that you get access to n number of these videos that will be helpful in your UPSC preparation as well. So that's it. Thank you.